Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your afternoon drive time show. We are the right guys. I am Ralph J. Chittams Sr. And of course, with me as always is none other than...
I'm Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting live from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via FHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you know who we are. We are humans by race, Christians by faith, Americans by nationality, and conservatives by choice, because that is the only position that makes any sense at all. And
on the rare chance that we could possibly be wrong about a particular given topic or an agenda, you need to know this. We're still always going to be right.
That's right. We will always be right. Brother Lonnie, how are you today?
Well, it's another day in paradise, as I was telling you earlier, and just getting through the day. And are we ever going to get any real snow, or is it just going to be a light winter? I'm not complaining now. I'm just stating.
Well, personally, I need to have one good snowstorm every winter to make me happy. Now, when I say a snowstorm, I mean enough snow to shut down the city for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about at least a foot of snow. So hopefully we'll get it at some point. We may not, but hey, we'll see.
Need to get one this summer. I mean this season. Otherwise, we're going to start to look a lot like California. Have us know we don't want that.
No, we definitely don't want that. But also, there's a whole lot of, just medical and nature things, here in the District of Columbia that we really need, that hard freeze. A lot of people don't know is a lot of D.C. is built on a swamp.
Yeah.
And so if we don't get, a good hard freeze in the wintertime, when the spring comes, our mosquito population goes on steroids because we didn't have the freeze to kill the larvae during the wintertime. So
I had not thought about that. Man, let me tell you something. If the mosquito season gets any worse than it's been in past years since I've been here in Washington, D.C., that might be impetus for me to maybe consider moving back to the Soviet socialist state of California.
No, you definitely don't. I was reading some of the news clips today coming out of California. You definitely do not want to ever go back to California until we can snatch them at least back to left of center.
Exactly. They're beyond left of left. So just get them left of center would be an accomplishment.
Right. If we can get them left of center, there'd be some hope. But for now, good Lord. I still, we're going to have to sit down one day and you're going to have to give me a history of just what happened that sent California completely into La La Land.
That would be a long conversation. I got to tell you, having been born and raised there, you don't realize how bad it is until you get outside of the state looking back. And then you get a true perspective that, oh my goodness, you kind of think that when you're inundated with that worldview and for an extended period of time, like I had to admit on my own show, and let me just get the shameless plug out there, Lion Chasers Radio with Lonnie Poindexter, Monday through Friday on urbanfamilytalk.com. I had to come out and own up to the fact that at one time I actually voted for Jimmy Carter. Now, looking back on it, what was I thinking? But the state of California is an extremely liberal state. But let me state this, Ralph. You get outside of Southern California, Northern California, you go east of that initial mountain range, which I believe it's not the Sierras, I forget the name. And the California is no different than Iowa, Texas, or any other drive-over state, or flyover state that helped get Donald J. Trump elected. It's the coastal regions, in particularly the Bay Area and Southern California, that tip the state over into the liberal ocean of foolishness.
Funny you should mention the Bay Area. Do I have a story for you and our listeners? San Francisco halted the construction, or rather the renovation project for a bridge a $70 million restoration on a bridge because of a single hummingbird egg.
Wait. I'm laughing because I'm not surprised.
Yep, a single hummingbird egg. The equipment and barriers are all in place and work was ready to resume, but suddenly halted after a single hummingbird nest with one egg in it was discovered on the bridge.
See, if it had been me, I'd say let's make an omelet. But that is San Francisco.
Right. So a $70 million project put on hold until an egg hatches. One egg.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Welcome to California. Like I said, funny you should mention the Bay Area.
You know, this is a state that has farmers losing their entire crops and orchards they've had for 50, 60, 100 years over a smelt. Have you ever seen a smelt? I've never seen one.
Oh yeah,
it's probably
I know exactly. I know exactly what a smelt is. But you're right. California has manufactured a water crisis.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sure if we talked about it on this show or on your show, but Israel has a functioning desalination plant off its coast, which provides fresh water to some of its residents.
Yep.
How many hundreds of coastal miles does California have? We're the United States of America. We're supposed to be the biggest, the baddest, the smartest, the most technologically advanced, country on the face of the earth, and we can't build a desalination plant?
There's one in the works down San Diego way, and it's not even completed yet. I believe it's in the planning stages. That's the only one that I know about on the West Coast.
There should have been one built 10 years ago.
Oh, God, at least 10 years ago. This water problem they've had for some time. I mean, the system that they use to distribute water throughout the state is over 100 years old.
Right. As we saw in that great movie about the volcano erupting in California, where the lava had to go through the water channels.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no water in there.
Right.
Might as well use it for something.
Yeah, let the lava go through the tubes. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I saw that
in California has been a problem for many years. The movie Chinatown with Jack Nicholson touches on it. In fact, that's what that movie's about: is the water wars in California. It's been a problem since almost since California became a state. But a state that's driven by liberalism and progressivism is not going to figure it out. You mentioned Israel. Funny thing about Israel is they have desalination plants in production, and their entire population at some point will be completely off the traditional grid of pulling water from rivers and so forth, probably in the next 10, 15 years. And guess who they provide water for in addition to themselves, brother?
Could it be the Palestinians?
Yep. The very people that swear to overthrow them and wipe them off the face of the earth are the same people that provide water for them. In addition to that, when their soldiers are wounded, the Palestinian soldiers, calling them soldiers is a stretch. Terrorists is a better word. They bring them right over to the Israeli side and send them to the Israeli hospitals.
Which, by the way, just so people know, is one of the best hospitals in the world.
You're in line. Top trauma center in Israel, Rambam Hospital.
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful facility. Hey, here's something else about San Francisco, since you got me on this thing for useless information for our listeners. In San Francisco, I attended an event back before I moved to Washington at the University of San Francisco. It was a barbecue that was done in the quad on the campus of the business school. And I remember seeing security-oriented officials standing near the trash cans. So they're serving barbecue, and we eat. It was good food. A lot of it is what I call hippie food, organic in nature. Not a whole lot of meat. You know what I'm saying, brother? A lot of grains, fruits, and nuts. So our plates, and they would take the plates from you, and they themselves would disseminate one trash from another. There was like three or four trash cans at the end of the line that you would go up the same line. And I said, well, what's that over there? One of the guys said, that's the trash police. I said, you've got to be kidding me. No, they're watching to make sure that you empty the right refuse in the right receptacles. You know, refuse cans here, plastic here, paper here, organic materials there. I said, you mean to tell me they have these Lonnie, and down in my witness in San Francisco, there are trash who will fine and ticket you if you don't put things in the right receptacles.
All right, well, hold on to that stuff. We'll come back with more little fun stories about San Francisco. But it's time for us to take our first commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We will be right back.
Hi, it's your business diva here, Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., we talk all things money on a global, domestic, and household scale that affects you and your wallet. You don't want to miss it.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're
think so.
Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Guys. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., of course, and with me is...
Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via SHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
That's right. So, you went to the picnic, and they wouldn't even let you throw your own trash away.
No, trash police, brother. And It was serious.
Okay, now I have to ask you a question. Did you have different people in charge of different types of refuse? Because I'm sure there was probably a union rule that one person had to handle the chicken bones, and one person had to handle the rib bones, and another person had to handle the paper products. Were they that crazy?
You got me thinking. I would not be surprised if there were special designations for those who specialize in aluminum products and those who specialize in only paper products only, and then those with organic materials only. And we're making jokes about this, folks, but y'all need to understand something about that city. That city is that bad. San Francisco is a beautiful city to go and visit and see all the wonderful sights there. But you had to live there in that city. It would drive me crazy to live there. You know, automobiles are persona non grata really in San Francisco. The only other place I found that makes it as difficult as San Francisco to park a car is right here in our nation's capital.
Well, and honestly, there was some talk at one time of using some sort of policing measures on recycling.
Yeah.
So if you had something in your recite, now they will cite businesses here in the district, but there was some talk at one time until it got knocked down about actually there being a recycle police for homes.
Yes.
And so, if there was something in there that wasn't supposed to be in there, you'd get a citation. So DC, in more ways than one, is Frisco East.
Yeah, it is, very much so. I told folks when they asked me about it, it's San Francisco East. Really? I said, yeah, just take the hills out of San Francisco and you have Washington, D.C. And I mean that, Ralph, in every sense of the word. The vibe. The one thing I'll say about Washington, D.C. over San Francisco is Washington, D.C. has a rich, deep, and steep history, being the capital of our nation. So for those of us who have spiritual eyes to see, it's a beautiful city to trace the history. But today, the political climate is no different than San Francisco. And I mean that as it relates to those who happen to, Australia. You know what I'm talking about.
Right. In regards to everything.
Yes.
As Cat Williams would say, everything. And everyone.
Everyone.
Yep. All right. Okay, let's get into let's have a little substantive conversation, as it were. I am going to say Justice Gorsuch. I am speaking it into existence. He is going to be the next Supreme Court Justice. Neil Gorsuch. What do you think?
I think so as well. I heard the president's already calling for the nuclear option. He said, we already know they're going to raise a fuss, so let's just cut to the chase and get this done.
Yeah, but just looking at this guy, the first thing you do is you look up his background. You figure out, what's in his background. Is this a good person for the country? Is it someone that, I, as a social conservative, because we are, persons of faith, we make no bones about it, we're conservatives. Is this someone that I believe will uphold the Constitution and not become an activist judge? And I was looking, so just for our listeners, just to give you some background on who Neil Gorsuch is, he was appointed to the 10th Circuit in 2006 by George W. Bush.
Yes.
His nomination was so boring, had so little controversy, that he was confirmed by a voice vote. Okay? So there was no opposition. There was no effort made on the part of Democrats to block him. He went through on a voice vote. Graduate from Columbia, Harvard, and Oxford. So he's got the pedigree. Not that it would be something wrong if he, graduated from Cal State, but I'm just saying that he didn't.
Well, I would say if he graduated from Cal State, I would maybe raise my hand. Go, wait a minute. Point of order here.
Okay, now, he has gained praise from Robert George. He's a professor at Princeton, and this article says, arguably the nation's most influential social conservative intellectual. This guy says Gorsuch belongs on the Supreme Court because of his intellectual ability and his willingness to rule based upon the Constitution and to not be an activist judge.
Man, what a concept that would be.
Right. Now,
no activism from the bench?
Well, one of the things that Gorsuch said the other day, he said, any judge that is happy with every conclusion that he reaches is not doing his job. And I had to think about that for a minute, because what he's saying is, I have to make my conclusions based upon the Constitution of the United States of America, not based upon the preconceived outcome that I want to reach when I sit down in my chair.
Yeah.
So he's willing to say, I may have to, make a ruling that I personally don't agree with if that ruling is based upon law and constitution. What a novel concept for a judge. No activism. So I'm liking this guy already. All right, so let's look at a couple of issues. Euthanasia. So for those who don't know, even here in the District of Columbia, that is now an issue that we're dealing with because the council passed a bill legalizing assisted suicide right here in our nation's capital. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one as a person of faith. But in 2009, Neil Gorsuch wrote a book titled The Future of Assisted Suicide and Euthanasia. And in this book, he examined these issues' ethics and their legality. I guess you say his conclusion is, and it's the thesis of the book, is that human life is intrinsically valuable and that intentional killing is always wrong. Okay, 1 star for Neil Gorsuch on the euthanasia issue. He does not find a constitutional basis for assisted suicide. How's that grab you?
It grabs me right where I live. It's common sense. It sounds like he is a jurist that would understand that God is the final arbiter in the affairs of man and not man.
Exactly, and that's exactly what he's saying. A human life is intrinsically valuable, and that intentional taking of human life is always wrong. So, where do you think that places him on the issue of abortion?
Yeah.
Well, first things first, let's be honest. He has never ruled directly on a case where abortion was the issue.
Yeah, it's all speculation at this point where they think he's going to fall on it because he hasn't ruled on it.
Right. However,
go ahead.
Here's the however, and it's a good however. He did side with religious employers who claimed a religious liberty infringement under the Affordable Care Act. So you remember Hobby Lobby and the Little Sisters of the Poor?
Yep.
He agreed with them that they should not be compelled to provide those services in their insurance plans if they had a religious conviction against it.
Yeah.
So, even though he has not, specifically ruled on abortion, the fact that he came down on the side of Hobby Lobby and the Little Sisters is reason to give us comfort that he understands that there should be an option for religious organizations who have a sincerely held religious belief to not have to provide a service which violates their conscience. Mm-hmm. So, star number 2.
Works for me.
Hey, we're on a roll here. Now, here's one that, the issue of religious liberty. So we already dealt with it a little bit with that, with those 2 cases with Hobby Lobby and the Little Sisters. Now, here's another really, really interesting religious liberty case. And I'm going to have to actually skim read this article while we're on the air. And in this case, and he wrote the majority opinion in this case, and the case is Yellow Bear v. Lampert in 2014. The plaintiff, Andrew Yellowbear, was a prisoner in the Wyoming Department of Corrections. He's a Native American. And the Department of Corrections prevented him from accessing a sweat lodge, which was actually contained within the prison grounds. Okay? They denied him access to this sweat lodge, saying that it would be an undue burden for them to take him out of protective custody or whatever the maximum security area is in this prison, to take him out of that area and walk him through the general population so that he could exercise his faith by going into the sweat lodge. Gorsuch, in the majority opinion, sided with the prisoner. And basically he said, if you can take prisoners out of that restrictive environment, where they're in their cells for 23 hours a day, and you can take them to the infirmary, and you can take them to the shower, or you can take them through general population to go any place else in the prison, you do not have a legal standing, therefore, to not take someone out of that area to another area where they can practice their faith. Came down squarely on the side of religious liberty. And I had never heard of this case until I started researching Gorsuch. And it's interesting that even for someone incarcerated, he, again, looked at the law, looked at the actions of the state actors and said, you are discriminating against this man's religious liberty. You have to let him go to the sweat lodge to practice his faith. So I'm liking this guy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's check number 3.
Right, that's check number 3. He's also, in an essay in the National Review, he, using the word in the article, excoriated progressives for their reliance upon courts to implement their social policies. So he's saying again, it is not the rule of judges to make law. It is the rule of legislatures to make law. It is the role of the courts to interpret.
Yeah.
So, Donald Trump, President Trump, said he promised us conservatives that he would nominate a justice to replace Justice Scalia that was cut from the cloth of Justice Scalia. And in Neil Gorsuch, I see Scalia 2.0.
Yeah.
So, isn't it great to have a president that kept his promise?
What a concept, man.
And of course, now the liberals are saying, that what is wrong with President Trump? He seems obsessed with keeping his campaign promises. It's like, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
It's been so long since we've had that. People have, I think, forgotten that that's a part of politicians. At least it should be a part of their repertoire, actually keeping their promises.
Right. Exactly. I'm looking in the chat room, and Don Vito, we were talking about Justice Gorsuch talking about the life issue of dealing with euthanasia. Don Vito wrote, in quotes, innocent, end quote, human life. I have not found anything that indicates where Justice Gorsuch falls or what he thinks regarding capital punishment. I have not read anything that says he is one way or the other. So therefore, that is why I did not speak to that particular issue. If I find something, of course, I will bring it back to the show and share it with our listeners, because that's what we're all about, getting the real information out there and not the garbage spin that we get from the left. So,
great points, because that's what we do on the show, is talk about the essence and truth of the issues and give you a balanced, objective worldview, because, well, we use the Bible as the benchmark to judge all things.
Right.
It's that simple.
Right. It really is just that simple. So, Don Vito, if I find anything that gives any indication where his foot is going to fall on the issue of the death penalty, we will revisit. But as of today, I have nothing.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me give the backdrop to the statement you just made. Mr. Chittams and Don Vito have had this ongoing argument concerning capital punishment and the validity thereof, or the lack of validity. So I'm just going to have my bag of peanuts and popcorn and my orange crush and sit back and watch when more information comes to bear on that topic.
I mean, we've had this discussion. On numerous occasions, regarding the death penalty, and this is one issue where principled conservatives really can disagree. But one thing that Ken and I, we take pride in the fact that on this issue, even though we disagree, we're still friends. We love each other like brothers. There's not anything that one of us wouldn't do for the other. We don't question each other's conservative bona fides because we disagree on this one particular issue, because each one of us comes to our conclusions based upon a rational thought process. And I can understand his thought process. He can understand my thought process. But when it comes down, it's, the last time we talked, it's like on a football field, on this issue, Ken and I could start at the goal line and run 99 yards down the field side by side. But when we got to cross the goal line at the other end of the field, we'd have to stop. So what? We're not supposed to be friends over 1 yard when we agree on 99? So,
yeah, last time I checked, neither one of them have called each other names, nor have they threatened to burn up each other's vehicles or torch each other's homes. I mean, the standard response you get from the liberal community.
You're going to love this. Ken just wrote in the chat room, in the Euro-Pacific Bank Ltd TECN chat room, Ken just wrote, "I'll treat you to an exceptional one." That's this burger on steroids that should be illegal to sell because it probably has enough fat content for a family of 12. He says that he'll treat me to an exceptional one at Infuse if Justice Gorsuch is anti-death penalty. So, if he's anti-death penalty, I get a burger from the exceptional one. That's the bottom line on this. So we'll see what happens. But no, I'm over the moon happy with this initial pick of Gorsuch, because truthfully, what this does, all he's doing is replacing Scalia with a like-minded jurist. So all President Trump has done with this pick is reestablish the status quo.
Yeah.
Now, why this is so important that he reestablish the status quo is because depending upon the next jurist that he has to replace, that next jurist could be the game changer.
That tips the scale. Yeah.
Right. If Ruth Bader Ginsburg goes and that's the next jurist to be replaced, that's a game changer. And we will have the court that we have been dreaming about for a long, long time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to come up on our next break. Don't go anywhere. Listen to these words from Pastor Donovan Larkins, and we will be right back.
Hello, I'm Donovan Larkins, pastor of Spirit of Life Christian Center in Dayton, Ohio. But I'm also the director of Shekinah Ranch and the Shekinah Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And today I want to just share with you some of our materials that we've developed so that you too can be part of promoting prevention, education, and safety awareness to youth. We have now our Protecting Innocence t-shirt. It's a powerful marquee or billboard that you can purchase and wear yourself that brings awareness that children need advocacy. It's a powerful, powerful piece. It's simply a picture of that with this marquee here with some additional wording on it. You will want to be a part of that. We have posters that any of you pastors, any of you community centers, you may want to obtain some of these posters and post in the recreation center. It would be great to post this in the foyer of your church. It would be awesome for you to post this throughout the schools of your community. Involvement is what's necessary. Involvement is what makes a difference. We know that in order for evil to triumph, all that is necessary is for good men and women to do nothing. And then we have these little marquees. You can order 100 of them, you can order 50 of them, and you can pass them around to your family. You can pass them around at a family event, a local event that you're going to be at a festival or something. These are very handy, very cost efficient. They make a powerful statement. They really make an impact. And then we have our Protecting Innocence ribbon. And in this package, it's not only just the ribbon, but it also has a message, a safety awareness message, actually a tip. And the tip encourages parents to exercise scrutiny with the relationships that your children are involved with. Today, we see more and more children being victimized by teachers, by coaches, and by other people, other supposedly trusted individuals. We have to prepare our children as we plan for them to be safe. And then you will want to be involved with the overall Protecting Innocence campaign, because we're making plans right now to build a retreat recovery center on our 150-acre campus where Shekinah Ranch is housed. And you can get this brochure, we can email it to you. That way there's no cost associated with it, so that you can learn how you can join our Protecting Innocence team. We are communicating with people globally, all over the world, that are interested in how together we can protect children from dirty, evil child molestation. We love to have you on board. We need your support. We want your prayers, and we welcome your financial contributions. Again, I'm Donovan Larkins, Shekinah Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And by the way, camps are coming. So call us so that you can register your child at 937-422-6029. See you later.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio,
Pack Dude. Pack Dude.
Radio.
Pack Dude. Pack Dude.
Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Guys. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and of course with me is none other than...
I'm Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via FHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
All right, well, Brother Lonnie, one of our listeners forwarded me an article from Quartz Media, LLC. It's written by Efret Livni. It's dated yesterday, January 31st. And there's a paragraph in this article that says, like Scalia, Gorsuch does not welcome death penalty appeals, but does often come down on the side of criminal defendants against the state, based upon come back. Where'd it go? Based on his strict adherence to rules of interpretation. This makes the conservative justice an unlikely ally of underdogs in criminal court, as his predecessor was. So, it seems as though, depending upon the case, he could go either way as far as the death penalty is concerned. So, again, he's not an ideologue. He looks at the law.
Okay, so does that mean you get the burger or not?
I don't know. We're going to have to, Don Vito and I are going to have to negotiate on that one. Maybe we'll go Dutch. I'll buy his and he'll buy mine.
Well, I can act as an arbitrator on behalf of both of you, gentlemen. I just require you take me to either Chef Chow's or Tony Chang's or this Brazilian bistro that's just opened up over on the other side of the Verizon Center there. So
based upon Ken's reaction in the chat room, I think I win, because his reaction is "darn it" with 5 exclamation points.
Wait a minute, I'm looking in the chat. Oh yeah, I just saw it. All right. So okay, great. Then you guys should take me just so I can have a ringside seat to watch the gloat session take place.
Right, just sit there and watch the what is it? My arteries harden as I eat that thing. Good. But I isn't it something like a double burger, double cheese with 4 strips of bacon? Isn't that what the exceptional one is? It's something like that, isn't it?
Man, we're going to have to do an intervention with him. His love affair with all things concerning protein.
I'm telling you. Yep. So, now he's saying Dutch it is. We'll call it a Tony Chang violation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see how much fun conservative has. Oh, look in the chat room. He's correcting us. It is 8. It's 8 strips of bacon.
Ah.
And we're not talking turkey bacon.
No. We're talking Canadian bacon.
No. Not even Canadian bacon. We're talking West Virginia sugar bacon.
Oh, Lord.
Thick cut, probably no one can. Look at
bring in the defibrillator. Clear.
Exactly. What's that other burger place? It's probably in California. The one where it's all about heart attack burgers.
Oh yes. That's out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, it's in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you have to go in and they give you a hospital gown and all the waitresses are dressed as nurses.
Yes, it's called the Heart Attack Grill.
Yeah, they ought to have an exceptional one on the menu there.
Dude, they probably already got pictures of Kenneth McClinton in that restaurant. He hasn't even gone there yet.
What? Oh, look, that place in Arizona is probably like Ben's Chili Bowl here in D.C. Because at one time they had a sign up there that said, only Bill Cosby and Barack Obama eat free. Everybody else pays. This place in Arizona probably has a picture of Ken up on the wall, you know.
with a brass plaque on a stool where he normally sits when he sneaks into Arizona.
Right, where you can walk up and light a candle and pray to their patron saint.
Look, bro, I don't even think he actually goes all the way to Vegas for Freedom Fest. I think he just detours and heads straight for the Heart Attack Grill, and he posts up there and then tells everybody he went to Vegas.
Yeah, he does remotes from the Heart Attack Grill. That's probably what he does. Well, we'll find out this year. But this guy Gorsuch, I like the pick.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a full-blown ideologue, but he clearly has all the conservative tendencies that we would want to have in our next Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, we can hang with him, and I think he rolls the way we roll, so I've got no issues. I mean, it was really funny. Everybody's kind of all over the place, even conservatives. Well, we don't know about abortion and that kind of stuff. Look, if this cat's this solid on all these other issues, I'm inclined to believe that he won't be a problem for us in that area.
Right, and the fact that he sided with Hobby Lobby and the Little Sisters in the not abortion, but in the
Obamacare.
In the Obamacare and the birth control issue.
Yes.
You know, saying that, these organizations should not be mandated to provide something which violates their, sincerely held religious beliefs. It's only a half step to the abortion issue.
Yeah, I got to tell you, though, the Little Sisters of the Poor and Hobby Lobby having to fight tooth and nail to protect their First Amendment rights from an intrusive government based on an administration that was in power was a truly scary time. I don't know about you, Rob, but it just kind of let me know. I said, we are not far from some of the stuff that folks from Venezuela, Cuba, China, some of these other nations that America thinks we're so far away from becoming because of what they were trying to ram down our throats. I'm so thankful that Obamacare will be a distant memory in the next few weeks and months, and then we can get about righting the ship called America and getting us on course to the values that we all espouse and hold near and dear, which is keep government up out of our business.
Right. I mean, regarding the contraception mandate, he said that the contraception mandate substantially burdens the company's religious exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that says it all. So if he feels that way about having to do that, then what about a physician who has a moral, who disagrees morally with the issue of abortion? That person should not be forced to have to participate in this particular procedure.
I agree, brother. And or even paying to the system for the health care. You think of Catholic Healthcare West, which is a large chain of hospitals that were founded by the Catholic Church, and they had drawn their sights down on them, and were going to force that entire hospital chain to conform to this mandate, as former President Obama used to call it, from the people. And it wasn't. It was an agenda pushed forward to take away our freedoms. And I'm so thankful and so glad that we've got a reprieve on it and a real shot at getting the stuff right over the next 2 to 4 years.
Right. And then like I said, and you remember the conversation that we had at the March for Life with the family from the Netherlands, who, they said they criticized Obama for looking to the Netherlands when he was arguing in favor of euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide, and they said a lot of the people in the Netherlands don't like it because now it's been expanded to the point that it's available to someone as young as 16 who feels as though their life is over.
Bro, I remember that. That gave me chills when I heard them say that. And ladies and gentlemen, consider this. They came all the way from the Netherlands to participate in March for Life and other issues here in Washington, D.C.,
Right. And then, I was talking with, a few other people, and when I told them what was going on in the Netherlands, their response was the same as yours. So you mean, an over-emotional 16-year-old kid who breaks up, loses his or her first love, is completely devastated, lying in the bed, boo-hoo crying, can say that they want to kill themselves, and in the Netherlands, that would be permissible.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And let me extrapolate that out for you even further. In California, and they snuck this in during I believe it was the midterms, they would allow an underage teen girl to get an abortion without parental consent. That's another one of those emotional times when you're young and immature. You don't have age and maturity on your behalf to allow you to make a sound judgment. Yet you can go out and make a fateful decision without parental involvement. This is the kind of stuff that,
that's here in the District of Columbia.
They have that here?
You don't have to get parental permission to do almost anything here in the District of Columbia.
That's right. You can smoke weed too. So I forgot where I am. That's right. This is San Francisco East.
Right. So just think of the implication of that. Some minor gets an abortion. She comes home. She starts bleeding in the middle of the night because the abortionist botched something. The parents don't know what's going on. They wake up the next morning. The child doesn't get out of bed. They go into the daughter's room, and there she is in the bed, and she's bled to death.
Preaching. You're preaching. Ladies and gentlemen, that scenario happens all too often. Or she doesn't bleed to death, but she ends up barren, and the parents don't know why she's barren, and she can't conceive children.
Right. So, there are some serious implications to all of this. Parents aren't always right. Parents aren't always saints, but parents are parents. And it is not the state's responsibility to take the children away or to remove the parent from any decision-making responsibility and for the states to say we're the final arbiter of what is right and what is wrong for your child. No, the village doesn't raise my children. I and my wife raise our children.
Well, not so much in the state of California, bro. How much time we have left? Enough time for me to throw this out, or wait till after the time?
Yeah, wait till after, because I'm going to go into a break in literally 2 minutes, so just hold that. But
okay.
But no, and like I said, it's just this is one of my pet peeves, where the state replaces the parent as the parent, but then the parent still has to maintain all the financial responsibilities and everything else, but the state is going to come in and tell you everything else, but you still have to foot the bills.
Yep.
It's like you say, what do you call it? The socialist what of California?
Socialist state of California.
The socialist, right? Coming soon to a state near you, not. And I believe that this has been stopped simply because we now have a President Trump in the White House who is going to put justices. Now remember, there are a whole rack of openings on courts of appeal, courts around the nation. So it's not just the Supreme Court that he is going to have the opportunity to sculpt and to craft into what I will call a conservative dream. There are numerous lower court vacancies that he is going to be able to put conservatives in, where we can stem the tide of this foolishness.
Well, we need to touch on that after the top of the hour, because maybe our people aren't aware of that the last 8 years that Obama's in office, it wasn't so much his policy before Warren. It's what was going on behind the scenes with the appointments of activist judges.
Right, at the lower courts, at these courts of appeals, and then these other federal courts around the nation, exactly. So, like I said, President Trump has a chance to right the ship and to do a lot. So, we will just continue to pray for him. Considering the pictures that we have seen coming out of the White House, not only will we be praying for him, we will be praying with him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the top of the hour. Don't go away. We'll be right back in just a few minutes with the right guys.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your Lion Chaser in the good fight of faith, Lonnie Poindexter, on Urban Family Talk.
We're not saying that there's not instances where there's maybe racial injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human, and there's sin in the world. He's a president of first. He's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation any longer. But, we'll pray for our enemies while we defeat them.
You can't learn from the rest of the city what has not been an elected Republican the council in Baltimore City for 50 years.
In the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittams.
What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement.
Don't be bamboozled, ladies and gentlemen. Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or a white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those would say, well, it's all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Actually, I get that a lot. And they're the crew that has their bags packed at the train station. Jesus, come back. We'll be here in a minute. My train went by. I wasn't ready. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Lonnie. How are you?
The core issues, the bull elephants, aren't in the home. We got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Lonnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email, waddison@afa.net. Encourage your listeners to be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
We'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
The bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR Media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Coming soon to Ossicles near you. Excelsior.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are the right guys. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and of course, sitting with me is none other than...
I'm Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via SHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
That's right, and as we do, we always identify who we are at the top of every hour. We are humans by race, Christians by faith, Americans by nationality, and conservatives by choice, because that is the only position that makes any sense. And...
hey, if perchance we, on that rarest of occasions, happen to get something wrong, you need to know this. We're still always going to be right.
We are always going to be right. So before the break, you wanted to bring up something.
Yeah, a couple of things I wanted to touch on, brother. But first of all, and this is a news flash because I think I need to put him on blast, and I think you will concur with the statement I am about to make concerning Don Vito, otherwise known as Kenneth McClinton, head poobah of the Exceptional Conservative Network. And anyone that doesn't know what Grand Poobah means, you need to go out and watch a rerun of the Flintstones to know who the Grand Poobah is. I have a bone to pick, brother, and I got to make it plain. I just got to put it out there.
All right.
We slave and toil and research over the Exceptional Conservative Network and with this new radio brand and show called The Right Guys. And yet there's no complimentary drinks, no complimentary beverages, no complimentary hors d'oeuvres, or as Fred G. Sanford would call them, hors d'oeuvres, that we receive from him. And I'm just putting it out there that I feel that we're not getting the love. Where are our complimentary beverages, and where are our hors d'oeuvres?
As a married man, I don't want any hors d'oeuvres.
Okay, well, for sophisticated people who use 5-syllable words like my illustrious counterpart here, who has the letters after his name, because he's very much educated, they're called hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, I'll take some of those.
But no hors d'oeuvres.
No, that'd be too hard to explain to my wife. I was out with Ken and Lonnie last night. Oh, what did you guys do? Oh, we went and had some hors d'oeuvres. I'm not having that conversation. So, yeah, but, some hors d'oeuvres might be nice. Some root beer, yeah.
Some root beer, I mean, good. I'll take a glass of Tang. I mean,
wow.
even some of his illustrious root beer.
Right, you talk about Tang. You went old school.
Oh, I had to go old school. I love Tang, man. If that's the only reason why they went to the moon, that was fine with me as a kid. I love that stuff. Is it still sold? Yeah, in some places you can still get it.
You can still buy Tang?
Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Who knew?
I'm just putting it out there. I want to know, have we heard back from Don Vito on this? I just want to know why there's no complimentary beverages.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you may have scared Don Vito away. He's disappeared from the chat room.
I noticed. No response from him whatsoever. Interesting.
All right. Well, we know where he lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before you get into the story you wanted to pick up, here is some breaking news from the District of Columbia. We have this really great zoo here called the National Zoo.
Yes.
But it seems as though every year animals break out for some reason. So,
sorry.
I mean, literally, we had a red fox that went on the lam. I think it was either last year or the year before, and we had a bobcat disappear from the zoo a few days ago. Somehow he got out of his enclosure, and the bobcat just literally disappeared out of the zoo. They were getting sightings about people seeing this bobcat all throughout upper Northwest. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the bobcat named Ollie has been found safe and alive and is being returned to the zoo.
Is our zoo so bad that the animals want out?
Yeah.
I'm sick of these union workers. I'm out of this camp.
I'm out of here. Yeah.
Where's the LA Zoo? Where's the Cincinnati Zoo? Somebody hitchhike me.
Right. Point me to Baltimore. Yeah, the zoo's so bad. God. The animals are breaking out. But Ollie the bobcat has been found safe and sound, and he has been retrieved. So
we need to get Ollie the bobcat on the show and get an interview with him.
If you want to read something funny, somebody created an Ollie Twitter feed. Go and read that Twitter feed from Ollie the Bobcat. It is hysterical. So when you have some downtime and nothing better to do, and you just want to laugh yourself crazy, go check out Ollie's Twitter feed.
Maybe it was when Ollie broke out, was there a Chuck Brown tribute to go-go music happening this week, this past weekend over in the Southeast that he wanted to check out?
No, he never made it to Southeast. He pretty much stayed in the neighborhood.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, no, Ollie was like, I'm out of here. I'm tired of this. I got better things to do with my time.
We're going to interview Ollie, and Ollie comes on, and he'll sound like he'll do a great rendition of Ted Cruz and talk about the negative impact of the socialist or the liberal point of view and how it impacts those of us in the animal kingdom who happen to reside within the confines of Washington, D.C. and the zoo.
Hey, I'm just telling you, people have way too much time on their hands. Because I actually went in, and there are at least a dozen different, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? There are 10 Ollie the Bobcat Twitter accounts.
Ollie the Bobcat, I got to check that out.
Yep, Ollie the Bobcat, you gotta love it. Yep, so he's back. He's being returned to the zoo. Oh well, so much for his bid for freedom.
Yeah. Hey, let me touch on the other thing that was on my mind, other than the fact that Don Vito is paying us slave wages, and there's no complimentary beverages or snacks for us, hors d'oeuvres, as we broadcast, is California, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals I want to talk about. Just to give you an idea that you hit the nail on the head about parents being the final arbiter in the affairs of children. Not so much in California. Back in, the early 2000s, I don't have the file right in front of me, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals took on a case based on a lawsuit that was filed by parents of the Antelope Valley School District. That's a locale in the high desert just outside of Los Angeles. It's in L.A. County, but it's about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive up in the high desert. It's where everybody moved from L.A. for affordable housing because it was just too cotton thick and expensive in L.A. proper.
Okay.
So the school district there, and it's, what's the name there? Antelope Valley, and I'm trying to think of the name of the city there. It starts with a P. It'll come to me shortly. They discovered that in the school district, the children were being exposed to sex education.
Okay.
The parents wanted to get involved because they weren't given formal notice. They discovered that the sex education classes were being taught by an entity that the school district had contracted with some nice sounding family friendly name, like Planned Parenthood.
Right.
But it wasn't Planned Parenthood, but somebody affiliated.
Right.
Well, they were teaching the children, quote unquote, sex education. Let me make this plain for the listeners out there. The training of sex education was how to apply condoms to bananas, showing acts of sexual intercourse, exposure to the homosexual lifestyle and lesbian lifestyles. And so the parents took offense and said that, hey, you can't do this, and we should have pre-warning. The district pushed back. The parents turned around and filed a lawsuit. It went all the way to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is in San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen. And the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, their opinion that was filed, in short, said parents are not the final arbiter in the affairs of children in the state of California. In fact, the state is the final arbiter. Now, this happened, I want to say it was right around 2000, 2001, something like that. It was just snuck through, not a whole lot of fanfare on it. I learned about it when I was doing some contract work with Star Parker's organization, would have been around 2006. And I dug up the article and posted it in something I posted in her magazine.
Right.
This is what goes on, ladies and gentlemen. And California is the precursor, or kind of sets the tone setter for the rest of the nation. What California does, the rest of the nation tends to follow, because California is as large as it is. But can you believe that? The state said that they are the final arbiter in the affairs of children.
Well, they have to in order to push this progressive agenda. And you're right. California they're the leading edge of all this liberal nonsense. This progressive propaganda, finds its finds its root, finds its foundation in California. You know what? You know, another one of the stupid things that we've talked about. I don't know if we talk about so much stuff on the show I can't keep track of it. You know, that whole idea that when California tried to claim Ebonics was a foreign language.
Yeah.
Simply so that they could have greater access to federal English as a second language money, so they could continue to finance their liberal progressive agenda. They tried to claim a substandard form of English as a separate language in its entirety, simply so they could rip off more money from the education department.
There it is.
You know, it's like we say, only in California.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it's 15 minutes after the hour. We need to take a break, Brother Lonnie.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a short break here, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. They told me that I needed to be humble, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I decided to be awesome instead. That's The Willie Lawson Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Hi, it's your business diva here, Melanie Collette of Money Talk with Melanie on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m., we talk all things money on a global, domestic, and household scale that affects you and your wallet. You don't want to miss it.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
The bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR Media. Gird thy loins for the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Guys. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and of course with me is
Lonnie Poindexter, and we're broadcasting from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. via FHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
All right. So where were we?
Well, I was complaining about California, but part of that is much more important, the fact that we don't get complimentary beverages or snacks and cheese as we slave away and toil away on the radio show. And Don Vito is just absent. Haven't heard anything from him. I tried to text him, didn't get any response as well. But back to California, brother. Yes, California. And see, people don't know this. I didn't know it, and I lived in the state, had no idea that this thing had slipped through the cracks, where the state of California said that the state is the final arbiter in the affairs of children. And when you listen to any of the liberal progressive loons that are out there today, you'll see it come out, Ralph, in their conversation in one form or another. They actually think that they know better than the parents of the children in any given city, in their state, or in the nation for that matter. Hillary Clinton just about said as much as well.
Right. And how arrogant is that you're going to take a nameless, faceless bureaucracy and they're going to say that we know what's better for your child than you do, and you're the woman who gave birth to that child. You're that child's mother. You're that child's father. You're that child's primary caregiver, but the state is going to say, we know better than you.
Yes. Now, one of the justices sitting in the court of the Ninth Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that ruled on that particular lawsuit and the parents lost is the same justice who was involved in the repealing of Proposition 8 in California, the marriage amendment. He was involved, he ruled on it, then he immediately retired. And oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he was a homosexual.
Well, his job was done.
Yes.
He had completely undermined and subverted the nuclear family. He had emasculated the father, removed him from any decision-making in the family. He had marginalized the mother, replaced both with the state, and now he could ride off into the sunset.
Into the sunset, living in San Francisco, and we're paying for his retirement.
Yep.
That's how it works there.
That's how it works. All right, well, a couple of other little things I wanted to discuss with you. It seems as though our Republican brothers in the United States Senate, they're not playing. They're playing hardball up there.
They need to.
Well, the Democrats decided that they were going to hold up the nomination of President Trump's cabinet picks by not showing up for the committee hearings.
Yes.
All I can do is laugh because I think it's brilliant. The chairperson of the committee moved, it was seconded, that the rules be suspended, which required minority members to be present in order for the vote to be taken, and they voted them out of committee to the full Senate with not a single Democrat in the room.
I'm loving it.
Right, so the message is, now this isn't, well, this is close to nuclear, but this isn't the nuclear option. But see, what's happening right now, and you and I wanted you to tell that story that you told me before we came on air. Donald Trump, President Trump, is bringing a new attitude to government. The attitude he's bringing to government is forget procedure, forget policy, forget all of these arcane rules. There's something that we need to get done. Let's just get it done. He's bringing that businessman attitude into government.
That's what businessmen do. You know that. I know that. Common sense America knows that. But apparently those on the left side of the aisle and those with a different worldview don't seem to understand that.
No, I was speaking with a friend of mine earlier today who spent some time in the federal government, and he said that, once you get to the career people, you get below the political appointees.
Yeah.
He said their basic attitude is, I'll be here after you leave.
Yes.
Referring to the president and to the cabinet secretaries. The rank and file people, their attitude is, I will be here after you leave. I don't have to do anything that you tell me to do. I will slow walk you. Nothing that you say will get done, and you'll be out of office, and I'll still have my government job.
Brother, you see that happen throughout government bureaucracy. That's the game that's played. You see it most aptly applied at the school district level, which I have some exposure to, where they just wait out whatever regime's in power. A new superintendent comes in, got great ideas and plans about what they want to do, and then rank and file within the teachers union and the other unions associated with the school district. I would just wait you out. How long is your contract? If your contract's 4 years, you're out of here in 2.5 years.
Right, and I'll still be here after you're gone. Nothing that you say matters to me. No, I'm not going to do it. And I know enough about how this bureaucracy works that I can slow walk this thing, tie it up in enough knots that it'll never see daylight. And then when you ultimately leave, we'll just throw it in the trash can because you never had any intention of acting on it in the first place.
That's it, in a nutshell.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how things work inside the beltway of your nation's capital. And you wonder why nothing gets done at the federal level. We just explained it to you.
I'm sitting here thinking, and it occurred to me, Ralph, that you and I are turning into the John and Ken of Washington, D.C. John and Ken are rabble-rousers out of Los Angeles on radio station KFI, and they have become such a thorn in the flesh or thorn in the side for the bureaucracy in Sacramento that they're hated by anyone in Sacramento because they call out Sacramento on their foolishness to the point of every year they announce the salaries of all the legislators.
Hey, why not?
Their salaries, their staff, their budgets, how much they get per diem. They go right down the list for every legislator in Sacramento, and they get them so mad that the legislators actually called into the show. Now, you know how liberal Los Angeles is.
Right.
John and Ken are the exception to the rule, and I believe John is the conservative one, and Ken is more the libertarian of the two of them, right? And as I'm sitting here listening to what we're doing here on this show, we're becoming that. I don't know if it was by design, but I'm looking forward to the day when we got politicians on the Hill calling into the show to complain to us and tell us how wrong we are. I mean, they go right down the list. Guy calls in the show, or a legislator, a female, male or female, calls in, and they just call around the carpet. You make $100,000 a year. Your staff is this. You get this much in per diem. And what legislation have you passed that has touched the regular man in the last 10 years, 15 years you've been in office? And then you hear this click, bomb.
Well, all of that information is public.
Yes.
I mean, so it's not like they're doing anything illegal. Everything that all the information that they're giving is public. The salaries of public officials is public. Their expense reports, those are public documents. They can be obtained. You may have to, file a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act, but all of that stuff is eminently available to any American citizen. Well, heck, not even an American citizen, anybody who can write a letter.
Anybody that can write a letter. And the difference is, though, politicians, legislators, talking heads, pundits, whatever you want to call them, they know that the rank and file people will not do that. So when you have someone like a John and Ken or Lonnie and Ralph who decide to shake things up by stating the obvious, it's going to tick people off.
Right. And well, there needs to be people who will, as the term you like to use all the time, stir the pot.
Yep.
Someone needs to do it, and if it needs to be done on our side, then fine. And ladies and gentlemen, and don't think for a minute that President Trump is above criticism.
Oh no, you're gonna catch some heat from us too.
Right.
They throw rocks at everybody.
I mean,
you know why I say stir the pot? It's because the best gumbo, as I'm sure you know, is always at the bottom of the pot. That's where the crab is. That's where the big old pieces of shrimp are. You got to stir that pot, brother.
You got to stir the pot. Right. I mean, I'm not happy with all of President Trump's cabinet nominees. I'm not.
Nope.
And anyone who is completely happy with everything President Trump does, or anyone that was completely happy with anything any president has done, you need to check yourself into a hospital and have your head examined. Because my favorite statement is, I've been married, for over 30 years, and I don't agree with my wife 100% of the time. So how the heck am I supposed to agree with a politician 100% of the time?
Let me just put the caveat there. I've met his wife, and she is drop dead gorgeous. He does agree with her in person. Just when he's with us, he doesn't agree.
Shut up! She might be listening.
It's just with us fellas and gals on Radio Land that he doesn't agree.
It's a good thing Melanie's not in the chat room right now, because she'd be threatening to call her on the telephone.
Oh God, yeah, she called Trish right away. Girl, you need to be listening right now.
Yep. Well, let's get back to being a little serious for just a minute. With the nomination of Gorsuch, of course, the left has already started their scorched earth campaign to try to take him out and to take him down.
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood has released their screed against him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the worst thing since sliced bread. And even before President Trump announced him, there were senators who said it didn't matter who was nominated. They were not going to move on this nominee, period, end of discussion.
Yeah.
They need to be careful because the same way that the rules were suspended for that subcommittee and they voted President Trump's nominees out of committee to the full Senate by suspending the rules, the Republican Party, I believe, because they now have a man in the White House who is about results and not process, they will pull the trigger and go nuclear on the Supreme Court nominee.
He's already said, let's go there. He ain't wasting any time.
Yeah. I mean, so I firmly believe that if the Democrats really go whole hog obstructionist, they're going to pull the trigger and they're going to go nuclear.
Yep.
And all I can say is, and the Democrats will have no one to blame because they said it didn't matter who he nominated. And here's a guy that is who's getting praise. Gorsuch is getting praise from the left and from the right sides of the aisle. It's not just Republicans that are praising him, it's Democrats.
Hey, man, I say it's payback for what they did to Clarence Thomas. I never forgot that. And I do have to admit, at the time, I didn't fully understand the witch hunt that they threw at him. But as I understand, Gorsuch is an admirer of both Scalia and Clarence Thomas.
Right. There's this one left-wing nut job who said, after he was nominated, I bet...
Right?
Say again?
You know that's redundant. Left-wing nut job.
Yeah, I know, but that was for emphasis. This person said, I guess he's going to celebrate by going on Grindr. Now, for those who don't know, Grindr is a gay dating hookup site.
Oh.
So here, this foul-mouthed leftist is going to now imply that Gorsuch is a homosexual. There's nothing in his past that even intimates. No one has ever made an allegation that he's ever hit on anybody, grabbed anybody by a body part, gone to a gay club, nothing. But this is what this foul-mouthed person had to say. Oh, he's going to celebrate tonight by going on Grindr, which means he's looking for a homosexual hookup so that he can have a party.
Yeah, for them, honesty and integrity is not the cornerstone for those of that persuasion who happen to be rabidly liberal. They just put it out there, and you know that the accusations cause a slander and have caused quite a few of those that happen to have our worldview much consternation, because we live in a culture today that you just have to be accused. Don't have to be convicted of anything, just be accused.
Right. So you just throw some poop against the wall, and you just hope some of it sticks.
Yeah.
And that's what's supposed to now, substitute for civil discourse? You can just say something like that about somebody, and then everyone's supposed to go, yeah, I guess you will. No. But, like I said, if they decide that they're going to pull this stunt, I fully expect the Republicans to go nuclear and to require just a 51-vote majority. And if they do that, they're going to get it, and they'll probably get more than 51 because you'll probably get some Democrats to cross over and vote for him.
Yeah, there's some blue dogs out there that believe in the guy. I'm hoping that we can get them to cross the aisle at some point, but as long as they stay in the DNC, that's fine with me, and they vote our way.
Right. Because the truth of the matter is, the best way to govern is bipartisan.
Yes.
This hyper-partisanship that we've gotten into, over the last God knows how many years, really is bad for the country.
about this, bro. We're in hyper-partisanship now because things have gotten so bad and I'll go back to using California as an example. California, in truth, in reality, is a one-party state. There's a DNC there, and there's an RNC there, and there's independents and so forth there. But trust me, the state is run by the left.
Are you talking about California?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Washington, D.C. is run by the progressive left. So, hey, and in Washington, D.C., they really don't want to work with conservatives.
That's what I keep telling them. We can bridge across the aisle. Let's find common ground. I said, how do you find common ground with evil? You see, today, if Jack Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy were still alive, bro, they'd be Republican. It's only because the DNC is so far left in their ideology that they're arguing with, come on now, they're considering a Keith Ellison as the head of the DNC.
Well, and they're considering what I would say is a racist also for the DNC. Yes. And that's the white woman who said it was her job to tell other white people to sit down and shut up, and it's her job to shut them down.
Yes.
That's a racist.
I agree.
But, hey.
But see, that's why we have the polarization taking place, because I get, a lot of my folks I know from where I grew up, and they're on the left side of the aisle, but they really espouse our values, Ralph, but they just can't bring themselves to crossing the aisle because they don't know the history. And so we'll keep finding common ground. I said, how do you find common ground with evil? Jesus never did. John the Baptist never did. The iconic figures in the Bible, they called out sin where they saw it.
Right, you call it out.
Until you can quantify where you are in that party that you espouse to who does not share your values. Well, Lonnie, we can say, okay, if you can get the DNC to move more to the center, then we can have this argument. But they are so far left that there's no way in the world that those of us on the right side of the aisle can find common ground, because there isn't any common ground with evil.
No. And truthfully, it's hard to find common ground even on individual issues.
I'll preach.
It would be great if we could find common ground on, and we know we're not going to find common ground with the left on the issue of abortion. We know that.
No, there ain't no common ground.
We're not going to find common ground on the issue of euthanasia.
No.
But why can't we find common ground on an issue like the national debt?
Or social justice.
Right. It's inconceivable that it's gotten to the point where there is not one issue where we can walk together. That's insane.
It is, brother. It is. Hey, I'm looking in the chat room, bro. Looks like Don Vito finally chimed in, wants to know what happened back when I put him on blast. I'm going to leave him in suspense.
Okay.
What we talked about. But Melanie's there. I see Miss Melanie. And so good thing she didn't hear what we were talking about before, because, she would tell everything. She called all the women she knows. Look, they talking about us. They talking about us now.
Yeah, she'd be on the phone with Peaches and Trish, and it'd be all over. I'd be buying flowers and chocolates.
Flowers and chocolates.
Right. It had nothing to do with Valentine's Day.
I call Ralph's house and say, Trish, can Ralph come out and play? No, he can't come out and play today with Jelani. He's got honeydews today.
Yeah, he's on punishment. Oh, boy. Here we go. She said a little birdie told her she needed to come in and check on us. That's not what she really wrote, but I can't say what she really said.
Thank you. Hey, and shouldn't she be teaching a class somewhere, being that she's an educator and all that?
Yeah, but like you said, but she's from Jersey, so she uses all that colorful language that you really can't put over the air. You know that, right?
Oh God, yes, Jersey. Remember at the market? Okay, we're at the market live. going around meeting with different groups, Louisiana, and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was represented. But I meet these young men, and they stood out, young African-American men, and I'm just using that term because that's the identifier. They was brothers, all right?
Yeah.
And also there was some Italian brothers there. And I said, where you guys from? They said, you're from Jersey. And instant attitude.
Of course they did. They were proud because they didn't know any better.
From Jersey. There's another word that comes after that, but I can't say that on radio.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We have to take a break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hello, I'm Donovan Larkins, pastor of Spirit of Life Christian Center in Dayton, Ohio. But I'm also the director of Shekinah Ranch and the Shekinah Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And today I want to just share with you some of our materials that we've developed so that you too can be part of promoting prevention, education, and safety awareness to youth. We have now our Protecting Innocence t-shirt. It's a powerful marquee or billboard that you can purchase and wear yourself that brings awareness that children need advocacy. It's a powerful, powerful piece. It's simply a picture of that with this marquee here with some additional wording on it. You will want to be a part of that. We have posters that any of you pastors or any of you community centers, you may want to obtain some of these posters and post in the recreation center. It would be great to post this in the foyer of your church. It would be awesome for you to post this throughout the schools of your community. Involvement is what's necessary. Involvement is what makes a difference. We know that in order for evil to triumph, all that is necessary is for good men and women to do nothing. And then we have these little marquees. You can order 100 of them, you can order 50 of them, you can pass them around to your family, you can pass them around at a family event, a local event that you're going to be at a festival or something. These are very handy, very cost efficient. They make a powerful statement. Really make an impact. Then we have Protecting Innocence ribbon. And in this package, it's not only just the ribbon, but it also has a message, a safety awareness message, actually a tip. And the tip encourages parents to exercise scrutiny with the relationships that your children are involved with. Today, we see more and more children being victimized by teachers, by coaches, and by other people, other supposedly trusted individuals. And we have to prepare our children if we plan for them to be safe. And then you will want to be involved with the overall Protecting Innocence campaign, because we're making plans right now to build a retreat recovery center on our 150-acre campus where Shekinah Ranch is housed. And you can get this brochure. We can email it to you. That way there's no cost associated with it, so that you can learn how you can join our Protecting Innocence team. We are communicating with people globally, all over the world, that are interested in how together we can protect children from dirty, evil child molestation. We'd love to have you on board. We need your support. We want your prayers, and we welcome your financial contributions. Again, I'm Donovan Larkins, Shekinah Ranch Protecting Innocence campaign. And by the way, camps are coming, so call us so that you can register your child. 937-422-6029.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America. Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. Those who are tuning in around the world to the best late night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Guys. I'm Ralph J. Chittams Sr., and with me, of course, is the incomparable.
I'm Lonnie Poindexter, and we are broadcasting from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., via SHR Media and the Exceptional Conservative Network.
That's right. Okay, this in our last segment, well, I'm going to put in a shameless plug for me. It seems as though I have now been booked as a regular Thursday contributor on TV One, News One Now with Roland Martin from tomorrow through the end of March. So every Thursday morning, 7 a.m. on TV One, News One Now, I will be sitting on a panel with Roland Martin and 3 other liberal, progressive, Democrat leftists as they attempt to beat me like a piñata.
Brother, I just want to tell you, you're going through the gauntlet, but just make sure you have on your asbestos underwear and your Kevlar best designer suit and give them hell based on heaven's perspective.
I'm not going to wear any underwear. I'll teach them.
No, we're going to go commando.
Yeah, so, yeah, I just got to, during the break, of course, we started doing other stuff, and I just checked my email. And so, yeah, they've confirmed I'm on every Thursday from now through the end of March. And the reason it didn't extend any further is because I told them that's all I would commit to. And they said, well, we'll get to the end of March. If you want to extend it, that will not be a problem. So we shall see what is going on. That should be fun. So,
well, Rob, let me put on my ministerial hat for just a few seconds here. You and I have had this conversation candidly before and privately, but I'll just put it out there for the world to hear as well. That which they mean to try to use you for their objectives will flip on them just as Donald Trump uses the media and flips on them that which they used to have against him. And like I said before, give them hell, but from God's perspective.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I go on, that's all I do is speak the truth.
Yep.
And literally, it makes their heads explode.
I'm thinking of that commercial. I forget for what insurance company or whatever. When people's heads explode and the purple stuff comes out, that's
right.
The picture that I get.
Exactly, just poof.
Hey, Don Vito has posted in the chat room. I guess he decided to sign back in. See, the one thing I learned about these mogul type guys is they're paranoid. Much like our president has a paranoid streak in him, Don Vito has one, and he goes, "Oh, what happened? What happened while I was gone?" And I did not tell him how I put him on blast in the previous segments of the show. But I thought I would go ahead and do it again now since he is chiming in and listening in. Yes, Don Vito, I put you on blast. I have a major bone to pick with you. And I put it out there. And my brother Ralph didn't know I was going to do this because I wanted him to have plausible deniability. But I'm just putting out there that we slave and toil over this radio network and over this new show, The Right Guys. And we have yet to see a complimentary beverage or hors d'oeuvres as we slave over this radio network. And I call those hors d'oeuvres, those finger foods, those snacks, hors d'oeuvres. And Ralph immediately put a caveat out there saying, hey, wait a minute. My wife's not cool with me having a horror's divorce. I said, well, I'm just only using the term that Fred G. Sanford had used. That's what he calls hors d'oeuvres. So I just want to put it out there. We slave and toil. No hors d'oeuvres and no complimentary beverages. What's up with that?
Okay. Don Vito, the ball's in your court. I'm out of this.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't you throw me under the bus. This should be good for you, too.
Hey, I'm telling you, it all depends on how he pronounces it.
As long as you don't say horse divorce, you're cool.
That's it. I'm cool with that. As long as it's exactly. I can't roll with that other one. But okay, last thing I wanted to talk about really quick.
Right, bro.
Is this whole issue of sanctuary cities. Don't you just love how these mayors and governors somehow think that they have the ability to break federal law?
And Ralph, they have infinite financial resources.
Oh, they do?
In their mind. In their mind, they do. How are you supposed to pay for these sanctuary cities?
Look, it beats me. I don't understand how you can have a governor or mayor or whatever tell the President of the United States, the State Department of the United States, other agencies of the United States, we are not going to follow federal law.
Well, you know, the AG got fired for not following federal law. Donald Trump said, "You're fired," as he held up his pinky finger like he did.
Well, as she should have been fired. She was an appointee.
Mm-hmm.
She was a holdover from Barack Obama's administration.
What?
Yes. And instead of doing her job, she decided she wanted to play politics.
Yes.
And she got fired. No problem with that. No problem with that whatsoever.
In the era of political correctness, when's the last time you heard a politician say they fired anybody? They always say, we're going to make accommodations. We're going to see if we can find something else for them to do. I just love it. I worked in corporate America for many, many years, Ralph. I want to tell you, I've been fired. I've been asked to leave. I've been asked to submit my resignation because I'm opinionated. And, well, they would let me know sometimes if they weren't in agreement with my opinion.
Right, exactly. You know, and if this woman really, and, you know, it's now being reported that she had gone on record as having every intention to being an obstructionist inside the department to stymie the incoming president. You know, and Melanie just, mentioned in the chat room, and yes, she has been nominated for the JFK Courage Award.
Mm-hmm.
For being a jerk?
For being a jerk, the Jerk Award.
Right.
She should have given that award by, what's his name, from the movie The Jerk. What was his name?
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin should give her that award.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes no sense. So now she's going to get this the JFK Courage Award because she refused to do her job and was playing politics with a policy that is clearly constitutional.
Yeah.
It's not anti-religion. Mm-hmm. It's not anti-Muslim. Mm-hmm. But like you said, they're implementing these Saul Alinsky tactics. If you tell the lie long enough and loud enough, it takes on an air of the truth. It takes on an air of the truth, and people will believe it.
They sure will.
So, but what's really funny is here in the District of Columbia, our beloved Mayor Muriel Bowser, she is playing this silly sanctuary game, saying that the District of Columbia is going to remain a sanctuary city. But see, there's a big difference between Washington, D.C. and Chicago, between Washington, D.C. and San Francisco, between Washington, D.C. and any other city in the United States of America. Written into the Constitution of the United States is the ability for Congress at any time to completely revoke home rule and manage the District of Columbia and put her and anybody who is in elected office out of office immediately.
Well, Ralph, I know that you're a longtime Washingtonian. I'm a recent addition to the city's population. And when I look back on the history of this city, and ladies and gentlemen, regardless of the regime that's in power on Capitol Hill, D.C. remains a very, very liberal city, which is why Ralph calls it San Francisco East, and I agree with him. This almost gives legitimacy and credence to being able to go with that option, brother, given some of the foolishness we see taking place in our nation's capital from the city standpoint.
Well, and what's funny is Jason Chaffetz has introduced an amendment to a bill here in the District of Columbia, which is rolling back an illegal action that the district undertook, declaring itself to have budget autonomy. They said they declared it themselves without congressional approval, and Jason Chaffetz is basically saying through this amendment, no, you don't. The Constitution never gave you that authority. And when the Congress implemented home rule for the District of Columbia, they expressly did not give the District of Columbia exclusive right over its budget. It retained the budgetary authority over the District of Columbia. And they're getting ready to roll back that illegal act that the district implemented under Obama, which of course Obama let stand, because why wouldn't he? But now that, we have a Republican in the White House and Republicans controlling both houses of Congress, we're now going back to what is constitutional and what is legal. And so let them play with this sanctuary city status, and they will find out that not only is Congress teaching them that no, you do not have budgetary authority because it is not mandated in statute or law, they can come in and revoke home rule in its entirety, and then what are you going to do?
This is interesting. I got to admit to you that I like to feign that I'm, a subject matter expert and well-versed in public policy going back 30 years. But no, in my previous life, I was a business person. I mean that by business, B-I-D-N-E-S-S. Business. Business. And so I was all about that business. But as I'm coming to understand the inner workings of public policy here in our nation's capital, I understand why District of Columbia is in a unique set of circumstances, different than what your states, including California, Alaska, everybody else, and even the provinces like Puerto Rico, their position.
Yes. I mean, Article 1, Section 8, paragraph 17, I believe it is, something like that, is the one that talks about the District of Columbia. And then later the Home Rule Charter came in, which gave the district limited home rule, but it did not give the district exclusive authority over its budget. Congress retained that right. So if Congress retained the right to budget, how then could the district unilaterally say without Congress, we have the right to spend our own money, we don't care what you have to say about it? It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
So this sanctuary city stuff is going to get very interesting when cities like Chicago start losing funding, and they're going to have to start making some serious fiscal decisions. But it's really going to get interesting here in the District of Columbia, where if they push this issue of sanctuary status, the whole concept of home rule may well disappear. Well, hey, guess what, Lonnie? Guess what?
What's that?
Time's up.
Oh my God! I'm just going to tell you before you go to the close that I'm actually kind of excited because maybe this unique set of circumstances will cause something to take place to cause some of these bombs to be thrown out.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to rush to close. Thank you for listening to the Right Guys. Understand that we are humans by race, Christians by faith, Americans by nationality, and conservatives by choice. And Brother Lonnie, what else?
Well, on that rarest of occasions I ever jump to, where we might be found wrong in any particular issue, as nebulous as it is, you need to know this: we're still always going to be right.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, have a blessed evening. We will see you tomorrow afternoon.
God bless.